This is definitely a box they can just put anywhere. It's gonna look good in the space, and I love the design, the honeycomb design on the top. Let's go ahead and plug it up. So initial setup of this is going to be straightforward. You don't need to sign into any account. Connect your remote, connect to your Wi-Fi, check for updates, and you're in the operating system. Takes about 5 minutes. So in this video, I'm not going to too much focus on the user interface. This is Android AOS or open source project, which means that it's pretty much bare bone Android, but you do have the flexibility to install any launcher that you want to make this your box. So what I want to focus on is just some of the specs, as well as doing a deep dive under the hood and doing a benchmark just to see where it stacks up against other devices. We do have Android TV OS 14 right there, the build right there, and we should be able to go ahead and do our unlock for developer options. So just hit the center button 7 times. I am now a developer. And we all know that once that happens, we can go down. We do have the developer options here. Now we can go in and really do anything that we want on this device. So that's cool. Really simple to get to the developer options. All right, so after a quick restart, let's go back into resolution. You can see we are at 4K at 60 frames per second. All right, so let's go back. We're gonna go to our advanced display settings. Do have a couple options there. Game mode, format selection. Go to manual, see what our options are. So DOVI, HDR10, HDR10 Plus, as well as HLG. Those are our options. Let's go back. Sound, let's go to our sound settings. All right, we do have automatic. Well, let's see what our format options are as well. All right, we do have pass-through for Dolby. We do support pass-through for Dolby Digital Plus. Supports pass-through for Atmos with Dolby Digital Plus, and it supports pass-through of DTS as well. So that's good to know for folks that are really into home theater. All those options, those pass-through options are there and available for you. Let's check our storage. All right, total space is 58 gigs. Remember, this is a 64 gig box, and we do have a USB connected to it. I'm showing that it's about 31 gigs. If I click on the drive, you can see that in order to view what's on the drives, you will need to use a file manager, but you can see I do have 22 gigs available. So what I'm going to do is head over to that USB drive. I'm going to download a File Explorer application, and then we'll move on with some tests as well as the benchmarks. All right, so here's the USB drive that we have, and first let's just see if we can play ordinary content. Let's open this guy up. All right, so you can see that's playing with no issues as I can fast forward and rewind. All right, so we do want to install 3D Mark as well as ID64. So let's see, and this will be a test to see if we can install third-party apps, at least apps not officially from the App Store. So we're going to go to our settings here. We're going to allow ES File Explorer to install apps. I'm going to install it. All right, so ID64 is done, and let's do the same thing with our 3D Mark. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll launch ID64. Like I said, ID64 is my favorite application to kind of look what's under the hood, guys. It's going to tell you as far as the internals, what everything is. And I do like the transparency here, not just relying on what manufacturers tell you. So system, all right, you can see our device there. This is our model. Hardware is Amlogic. Product is Raymond, 4 gigs of RAM installed. You can see we do have our available memory here, a little bit under 2 gigs available. Internal storage 54, internal storage free space, and we do have the external storage as well, which is the USB. Let's go back. All right, so here's our CPU. We can see clock speed here is from 500 to 2.4 gigahertz or 2400 megahertz. Gives you the 4 cores right here, and utilization is about 18%. You can see the CPU revision. It says RIP3, so we'll look that up. It is a 64-bit chipset, but it is running 32-bit. Our display, all right, so we're gonna have a Mali G10. This is very common in some of these boxes, but you can see we are running currently in 4K. Alright guys, so here we are with the benchmark scores and results, and this actually performed really well, and I'm going to break down how it compares to other streaming devices here in a little bit, but let's just quickly take this in and see what this all means. So overall score was a 2298, graphics score alone was a 3099, so graphics scored extremely well. The physics score was a 1207, and physics is pretty much just the CPU architecture, so that kind of brought down the overall score, but this scored extremely well, and it does have decent hardware. So just to give you a quick comparison of how this compares to other boxes, the On 4K Pro scored a 580 on the same test. The Fire TV Stick 4K Max scored around an 800. The On 4K Plus, which is the newer streaming device, does score a 1600. Fire TV Cube scored a 2500. The Nvidia Shield TV scored a 4500, and of course remember the BuzzTV Power Station 6, which scored a whopping 7500 on this test. So this is more than enough power to get your streaming in, to stream your video as well as some light gaming. So like I said, this is just a first look at the brand new BuzzTV Classic AI. This is a beast of a streaming device, Android 14 and running AOSP. I'm gonna do some follow-ups, but drop your thoughts, questions in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Of course, I'll leave a link where you can go ahead and pick it up in the description. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, smash the notification bell. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.